Hey everybody, this is Kristen with Codex and another Codex review. And today I'm going to be reviewing the 6-issue mashup of Batman versus Bigby, a Wolf in Gotham. Now, this is written by Bill Willingham, who is also the creator of the Fables comic, where Bigby Wolf comes from. It was penciled by Brian Level, inked by Jay Leifstein and Anthony Fowler Jr., colored by Lee Luffridge, and lettered by Steve Wands. Now, full disclosure, I love Fables. I'm a huge fan of Bigby Wolf. It's why he's my background right now. I have played the Telltale games, The Wolf Among Us, 1,000,001 times. And when Tim told me that there was this new comic series of Batman versus Bigby, I knew I had to read it. So let's get started. As always, I'm going to go ahead and do a review of just the first issue. That way you can see where I started and where I ended up. The score for the first issue is not indicative of the whole series. So please just hang with me until the end and I'll make sure to give you a full series score. Promise it'll be worth it. So in the very first issue, we are treated to some beautiful, gorgeous artwork. In true DC Black Label fashion, they do a lot of Easter eggs and they have a lot of backgrounds that are amazing. For example, when we're introduced to the main villain here, everything has a literary name. Everything has books on it. They're actually like on floating books a lot of the times. And when you're with Bigby, who is a heavy smoker, you'll see in the background that there is a lot of smoke happening. It almost seems to frame him in every single page. And in true Batman form, we have the bat signal and we have everything a little bit dark and gritty, and I love it. And just like my last Harleen review with the DC Black Label, there's so many Easter eggs that you'll be able to find. Whether you're a fan of Fables and Bigby Wolf or a fan of Batman, there's going to be something for you to discover on almost every single page. And that really sticks out in this very first issue. Now, in this first issue, we are introduced to the main, uh, you know, crime is what I'm going to say of this series. So we start with Batman. We do have Robin in here. We have many Robins actually, and we're only sort of slightly introduced to Bigby throughout. You kind of see him in the background. He's sort of there, but the main issue here is there have been a series of deaths throughout Gotham that look like they were killed by a wild animal. A wolf, basically. So that means that when Batman first meets Bigby, he goes ahead and knocks him out right away because it's a wolf. I hate that. He was taken out way too easily. For those that don't know, not a spoiler for Fables, Bigby is the big bad wolf. Not the personification. He is the big bad wolf of our fairy tales. They are also mostly immortal and very hard to take down. I'm not saying poison gas can't do it or knockout gas can't do it. What I'm saying is that Bigby has heightened senses for being the big bad wolf and, like Batman, doesn't tend to trust anybody, so he wouldn't have allowed himself to be captured so easily. It's a minor point. It irks me. The other thing that irks me a little bit in this very first issue is Batman himself. I love Batman. I think he's an amazing character, but this is not the Batman I love. You made this Batman so cold, so calculated, and so like standoffish that he didn't even give any of the characters a chance to talk to him. It's I'm right, you're wrong, deal with it. I hate that narcissism, that ego, and I just was like, gosh, Batman, Bigby's trying to talk to you in this first issue. Can you just please let him explain? No, never mind. You knocked him out with knockout gas in 2 seconds and end of issue 1. So I've got a couple of gripes, a couple of irks, but now I'm invested. And that's what I really look at for a very first issue of anything I'm reading. Am I now invested with your characters? Even if I never knew them, am I invested to at least read the next one and see what happens? Yes, I am. For this reason, the very first issue gets a 6 out of 10. The combination of beautiful artwork, the laying out of the story and where we're going to go. And even with all the irksome things, I still want to see what's going on because now I'm mad. Now let's get on to the rest of the series. As we go through the rest of the issues, the artwork is still very gorgeous, very dark. And again, you don't need to know anything about Fables or even Batman to be able to read this and enjoy it. The things that you don't know are the little Easter eggs for the people that do know. For instance, if you are a Fables fan, I'm not going to spoil this, but you're going to run into characters that we already know, and you're only going to know who they are if you've read Fables. However, they have been integrated into Gotham City perfectly. No problem. For all you know, they're just normal characters, and we move on. Same with Batman. You'll find these little Easter eggs if you're a fan of Batman, have read some of the comics, but again, even if you've never read Batman or only know him from the movies, you'll be able to go ahead and understand everything perfectly. To me, that is so important. To be able to understand a mashup story, which is taking two amazing characters, two storylines, two beloved comics, mashing them together, you need to make sure that the people that read Fables but may not Batman can understand, and the people that read Batman but may not Fables can understand, and the people who have not read any of them can also understand. You absolutely can here. It's a major high point. The writing is also a major high point. The villains are written perfectly. A little scary. It is a literary villain, and all of his goons and henchmen and all of that all have literary last names like Mr. Dickens, Mr. Kafka. That's really cool. It just delighted me and made me laugh. We also have Robin, many Robins. Makes sense. Batman can't work alone. We do have Gordon, Commissioner Gordon. We do have Alfred. So you're getting all these characters that you know and love. Again, I'm not mentioning the Fables ones because that would be a spoiler, and I want anyone who's read Fables to be able to discover this on their own. But they're there, I promise. A little bit more irksome is Bigby. Hard to bring down. He does escape Batman very easily, tries to confront him again. And again, we have this cold and calculated Batman that's just like, I'm not going to listen to you because I don't have to. I'm the smartest detective in the room. Okay, yeah, sure. The problem is these two characters would be amazing if they worked together. Bigby is like the Batman of Fables. He is their sheriff, their detective, their police force, their protector, their investigator. What's Batman? He is a detective. He protects them. They all trust him. It's okay. Just listen to Bigby for 2 seconds. Granted, yeah, okay, so you have to have a little bit of conflict, and the conflict is a major plot point. So I get it. I get why you did it. I just wish you didn't keep doing it so that we can move on to seeing these two characters interact and interact well. Now, there's going to be some time jumps. There's going to be some amazing action in here. There is going to be a part where Batman gets hurt and has to heal for many weeks. Bigby heals like Wolverine. He'll be ready to go in like 2 minutes here, okay? They do a time jump for that, and all I can think of is, wait a minute, this would have been super duper interesting without the time jump. Yeah, okay, Batman is recuperating, totally get that. But where was Bigby this whole entire time? You have them helping each other, accidents happen, time jump, 3 weeks later, and I don't know what Bigby has done. Has he done any investigating? Have the killings continued? Why did everything stop for those 3 freaking weeks and just wait for Batman to get better before they did their evil deeds again? Doesn't need to happen. Again, it's a minor gripe. I move on. My main thing here is that this is the mashup I never knew I wanted. This is perfect. They are amazing together. The villains in Fables work here. The villains in Gotham work with the Fables. Even though one is from this alternate reality where fairy tales are true and they're all immortal and everything, and Gotham doesn't have all that magic and everything, it still somehow works really, really well. And the story does come to a really good conclusion. I don't want to give you guys too many spoilers, especially since this is a newer release. I want to make sure that people have the time to read it. However, if you like Fables, you're going to like this. If you like Batman, you're going to like this. If you like wonderful comic artwork, you're going to like this. My main issues were the story could have been drawn out more. I could have seen a lot more of them working together. I could have taken a lot more of Bigby doing detective work, Batman doing detective work, showing off their strong skills, maybe even getting a little bit more background on why this evil villain is doing all of this. Yeah, we do get the answers that we want. Yes, it is satisfying, but when I have a story where it's satisfying, it's fine, it's great, I'm always left wanting more. And I do want that to happen here, and unfortunately, it doesn't. That being said, I do recommend this to be read and enjoyed. It will be a rereader for me. I'm very interested to see the little things that I missed, the little Easter eggs that I might have missed. It really made me want to go back and reread my Fables comics from the beginning, which I will probably end up doing anyway. It really made me want to sit there and reread this and go ahead and look at how they interact with each other, how the Fables interact with Gotham, how this evil villain is both part Gotham and part Fables. It's really, really fascinating to see these two worlds that are so well known and so loved mesh together. Now, with that being said, my final grade for Batman versus Bigby, A Wolf in Gotham gets a strong 8.5 out of 10 for me. It is definitely a rereader. It has some beautiful, beautiful artwork and Easter eggs in there. You do not have to know anything about Fables to enjoy it. You don't have to know anything about Batman to enjoy it. And these two characters work together so well. I sort of want a video game or a cartoon series or a movie with them. They work that well together, and I think that could have been explored even more. But that's it for this episode. Batman vs. Bigby was written in late 2021 and finished here in early 2022, with a all volume being published just last month in May of 2022. And if you haven't read Fables by Bill Willingham, I do go ahead and highly recommend it. And this mashup is also very, very good and very satisfying, even with my little gripes and irks in there. All right. And in case you forgot, I am Kristen with Codex. This has been a Codex review, and I hope to see you in the next issue.